Good morning here, YouTube people. What is going on with you all today? Yeah, I'm here at the regular spot again. It's finally back to being a beautiful day. It just rains and rains every day here. It's getting boring to see the rain. It's almost like we've become a totally different state or planet or country. And it just got terrible there for the longest time. It's almost as if we're in the beginning stages of spring instead of almost in summer, because we're real close to summer. Summer solstice is right around the corner. I think it's next week, as a matter of fact. But nevertheless, it's just been hairy-carry out here. And getting worse by the day. So I wanted to come to you with a video on mental health. Okay, so I spoke on this before, but I'm going to speak on it again a little bit. So in my homeless days and that, I experienced many people with mental health issues. Now, some of them are just totally fake. I mean, you can tell, I can feel their energy when they're around me, and they talk just as normal as anybody else out here. And it's easy to fake the funk. You just act crazy and things like this, and they get a check. Most of them are on disability, which allows them to buy their drugs, which helps them with their mental health as far as making them look just as crazy as people think that they are. But they're really faking the funk. They just get a check. And most of the time it's a minimum, which is, I think, $967 a month. And they just sit on these checks and go and buy umpteen thousands of dollars worth of drugs. And within a week, it's already gone. It doesn't exist. Maybe they buy a little food here and there, but they're really not into all of that. They're just into buying their drugs. They know they have problems, but they don't want to get help. And really, our government enables that because they're not being tested and checked. They don't have, like, what you might call a social worker that works with them on a daily basis, which is what most of these people out here need. They need a social person. Anyways, I'm going to go back a little ways. I had met this guy named Shane, and he was from Brunswick, Georgia, which is down below Savannah. It's like close to Florida. Anyway, he was supposed to go and get us a pizza, an extra large pizza at Quick Trip. Okay. Now, Quick Trip on the map, it showed it was 1.3 miles away from right here where I'm at, and I don't know. He left. He called me, he left at 12:11 or something like that. And then he called me at 2:17 and said he already got the pizza and he's on his way back. Well, I didn't hear from him, and his phone went dead, and I tried to call him and everything else, and I was calling. So 3 days later, I receive a text from him, and he says, "Help me, I'm lost." And I'm like, where are you? Isn't it just that easy to explain where you were at one time and ask somebody, how do I get back over there from right here? Eventually you will find somebody that will show you how to do that. But this guy, I don't know how mental he is, but he must be very mental, because he did not show up after those 3 days. And I waited and waited. He was supposed to get us a pizza. Of course, I knew he wasn't going to come back with no pizza, but at least come back to where he was at with me. I ended up having to take care of his things while he was gone. It was a very big pain in my behind. But the problem with him is, in the whole time that I spent with this guy, I never saw him do any drugs. So he was like major mental. If you are not doing drugs and you're that mental, something has to give. Like Daniel. I told you about Daniel before. He's mental. And I warned him when I first met the guy. I warned him. I said, look, I've been through a lot in my lifetime, and it seems like mental. And people are always bombarding me with negative energy. I do not like negative energy. I don't like being around it. I don't want it. This is why I got rid of Jermaine. Jermaine was also a big mental person and a mental problem. And I just did not want to be around that. And, you know, even my father's word said, if you lay with dogs, sooner than later, you will become a dog. Or you will start acting like one anyway. So I just tried to stay away from these people as best as I possibly could. Jermaine, he's got like a hunting dog nose, like he can sniff out anybody, you know. And he would come in the weirdest of places and find me. And I just didn't like it. I told him to get lost several times, but he just comes back. So anyway, I was sitting down one day in a coffee shop with this guy. And you wouldn't suspect him as being very intelligent. However, he is very intelligent. And we were talking. And during this time, I knew I was supposed to be a healer, but at what aspect? Because there's a lot of things that you could heal. A lot. Physically, mentally, whatever. And he said, one thing I noticed about you, Danny, is mental health people seem to follow you around wherever you go. My sister, because we have a background in my dad's family of people with mental health issues, okay? My sister took me to the mental health doctor to see a therapist. Well, what I do know, because I have studied it, is that the first thing that goes when you are bothered with mental health is your ability to function. Like, you know, you go to school and things like that, and whatever you learned in school, you will totally have forgotten all of this stuff. That left the building a long time ago. So if they figure out that you do not have that ability within yourself, then you already are at a certain level as far as being mentally sick. And so I functioned very well, and she told the doctor, well, he's not stupid. But see, that is one sign of them knowing whether you have mental health issues or not. But when this guy told me, because I was searching for answers, and I was expecting God to come in and my father. I was expecting him to come in an audible voice and say, this is what, but this guy says to me, well, it seems like wherever you go, from the stories you've told me, mental health people seem to attach themselves to you. And then I got it. It was like a big light bulb went off inside, and okay, so I am supposed to be dealing with mental health people. And so I strive to know all that I could about mental health, and I have, even to this day, I'm still working on learning all that I can. There's got to be a switch that you could turn on in somebody to actually cancel all that out. And if it's not that, then it's all demon possession. There has to be a demon within that person that keeps them at that state where, you know, even if they look calm at certain times and then all of a sudden they just fly off the handle, that has to be a certain type of demon. You know, but if it's not that, it's just, you know, childhood wounds, maybe you're very insecure or whatever it is that you have in your life. I have been able to, as of late, know exactly what it is that a person needs to change their whole life around. And I'm working and working and working at doing this for everybody that I come in contact with. As I said, nobody can do things for free. I would love to be able to. But food cost, you know, water cost, I mean, just anything and everything where you live costs money. So I cannot do that for free. But I can help a person in need. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to offer up the first 10 people. And I'm going to do this by design on each and every one of my social medias. I am going to offer a challenge, and the first 10 people that want to get some kind of mental health info, or, you know, something that will help them out in their everyday life, I will take the first 10 people and do that for free. But one thing I am asking them to do is make a video after it's all been said and done, and how they were helped and this and that, so that I can continue on with this, because that is my quest. It is. And I'm even going, I'm going as far as coming up with a non-profit in mental health, where I'm going to be able to help other people, but through people's donations and things like that. Because that is what I strive for. I strive to see people mentally healthy, you know, not having all these issues and that. We just have so much out here, it's crazy. Anyways, I want you to know that I love you. I love you right there. Love yourself. Love my Father God. And by all means, love each other, people. Until the next time, love, peace, and soul.